Okie dokie, hello everyone and welcome back to episode 29 I think it is, of my Blackburn Rovers Football Manager career mode. First day of the new season, 2018-19 season, away at Craven Cottage. Fulham, newly promoted, Giggsy as their manager. I guess Fulham must have given it Giggsy till the end of the season.
Give it Giggsy to the end of the season.
But yeah, so let's jump straight in. I don't want to waste any time, I'm looking forward to this. Welcome to Craven Cottage. Here we go, we kick off against Ryan Giggs' Fulham. I'm just taking a look at how we're starting up. Both teams opted to go with 4-4-2s. We've gone with Asidi out on the left. Stealing goal, Fabio right back, Dumic and Danny Bath making his debut at centre back. Augustinson still on the left. Tiote starts in the defensive mid position. Kerem Demirbay. Also, both of our central midfielders really getting debuts in the middle of the park. Gouffran out on the right, and the partnership of Andre Gray and Danny Graham remain up front. We're going to start things off defensively. Opposition instruction-wise, I've just basically gone with whatever David Dunn recommended, really. I'm not really too worried about Fulham, if I'm fully honest. And we're just going to do what we always normally do, work ourselves into the game, make changes where we deem possible. But in terms of their formation and whatnot, I'm not really worried about them dominating possession, because they've gone with the 4-4-2 as well. They're really going to be looking to try and park the bus and try and grab us on the counter-attack. So I'm not really too worried, as you've probably made out. And I think this could end up being quite a fun game just to kick the season off. But I say that, Fulham have managed to get the first two shots on target, and we go into the 20th minute. Well, 30 minutes gone. We've still done absolutely nothing. Okay then, it's half-time. Okay, well, long ball forward towards D. Thomas, who whips the ball in, and Chris Martin almost scores there, but we definitely... What? Right, I'm not quite sure what happened there, so it's time to give him a bollocking, I guess. Danny Graham not really done much. I'm going to stick Nabil Gilas on and see where we go from there. I think that's the quickest half I've ever had on Football Manager. I'm not even quite sure what the hell happened there. But anyways, good tackle from Johansson as Fulham look to counter-attack. We need to win this ball back, however, though, as Ayite runs forward. Not really being closed down by us, though. Tiote tries to get stuck in and tackle the ball, but Fulham still keeping possession pretty well, though. But we do win the ball back, and there's a foul from Cheikh Tiote. And Fulham win themselves a free kick. We're still yet to get a highlight, and this is really worrying up against a team that just got promoted. Christensen plays a ball back to Ream, who finds ex-Blackburn man in Tom Kearney. Finds Ayite as he runs down this left wing, but it's a good tackle from Fabio, and now we can counter-attack. Poor ball, though, gets picked up by the deep-line playmaker in Tom Kearney. Finds Christensen, and we're far too deep here. Chris Martin picks the ball up. What are we doing? We need to win this ball back. Cabano now plays the ball in. Augustinson, though, initiates a counter-attack. And here we go. We need to grab a goal this game. Because so far, despite having a really good pre-season, we've not shown up. Cheikh Tiote looking for Asidi, who shoots and finds Nabil Gilas, who scores on his debut. Gilas finds the net. We've been waiting 2 bloody years for him to wear a Blackburn Rovers shirt. But it's finally happened. Tiote to Asidi, to Gilas, 3 new players we've all signed in the summer creating that goal. And despite that, I'm still not happy with our performance so far against a team like Fulham. 70th minute, we're not really creating much, and it's probably time to start changing things around. We've not really seen much from Kerem Demirbay. So the question is now, what approach do we take? Tiote looked pretty good going forward, so for that reason, I'm going to bring on Lenihan at defensive mid. What we will do is I'll give Varela a run at right back, simply because he had a really good pre-season, and once again do my good old demand more from the players and see if we can make it 2 It's always difficult. I mean, this is a recorded episode, so I guess if it weren't being recorded, I'd really move things back to extended and see what the hell's going wrong, you know, which individuals are making mistakes. It really looked like we were struggling to tackle Fulham in midfield, which is kind of disappointing considering we're playing two brand new central midfielders. But here we go. Let's see if we can do anything with this. Asidi, back to Augustinson, who whips the ball in, but Varela wins it. To Tiote, who shoots. Varela shoots. Oh! close, but not close enough. Button gets two hands on the ball, but I'll tell you who's been quiet so far today. Andre Gray, Chris Martin winning that header. Not good at all. Beating Dumic to the header, and he's found himself in on goal. Good save from Steele, proving to me why he shouldn't be dropped to the bench. But, you know, one area we were looking to improve, obviously, in the summer was dealing with them direct balls. But, yeah, not really too happy with what came from Dumic there. But we could counter-attack here. Can Andre Gray beat the offside trap? He should be able to. And now he runs towards the opposition goal. Finds Cheikh Tiote, who looks for a sidey, who just about wins the ball back. Cross into the box. But again, another chance in the final third that we don't manage to put in the back of the net. Sidey's had a good game so far. He's the one that grabbed the assist, of course, for the first goal. Tiote played a part in working that first goal. Not really happy with this win, to be honest, but it's the first game of the season away from home. It's always tough, particularly against teams that have just gotten promoted, you know, because they're all up for the fight. End of the game, I'll calmly tell them I'm not pleased with what I saw, and we'll just leave it at that for now, I guess. I don't want to overcomplicate things. We'll go into the next game and see what happens. Positives, new signing in Gilas grabbed the goal. Osama Asaidi got man of the match. I'm not really happy with Dumic in the air. Dumic in the air. Jason Steele made a really good save to keep us in that game, so maybe, just maybe, might give him a chance in the next game rather than bring Rajkovic in straight away. But there we go. A 1-0 win puts us in 4th place. Looking at the length of this episode, because of how quick that bloody first half was, it's only been 8 minutes long, so we might as well do the Watford game as well. Bad news. Benedetto, the player I showed you earlier, who's kind of meant to be our backup Andre Gray player, he didn't get a work permit, so there's no point really us bringing him in. He's 28 years old. I'm not going to send him somewhere for 2 years. We need someone who can do the business right now. The backup player that I had lined up for the kind of Andre Gray backup role is this guy, Nano. Now again, we can compare him with Andre Gray, and we'll see straight away that they're kind of similar players. The only reason why I went with the Argentinian over Nano was because Nano was really more suited for the Spanish League, a lot less physical from a strength perspective. And in the Premier League, you know, it's a lot more physical than the Spanish League. But in terms of what we have available, without really breaking the bank, as in, you know, signing a player who's willing to play as a backup player or on rotation or whatever, this is the closest we could find. I mean, we compare these guys. They've got the same dribbling, the same finishing. Nano's got a better first touch than Andre. Roughly almost the same heading. Very, very, very similar players. So we are going to have to settle with Nano. He should be able to score a work permit because he's European. We also tried to bring in Matt Phillips on loan from West Brom. Not really a player I want to sign, so I don't really see him as a future player, but a player I feel could put in a decent shift at the moment. And yeah, he's not interested in coming on loan. 35k a week. If we were to buy him, even though he's transfer listed, which probably means we can get him relatively cheap, I don't think I'd be happy with dishing out more than 35k a week for Matt Phillips. So we're going to have to do without him. And yeah, let's jump into the Watford game. So about that Watford game, filmed it, recorded it, and then realised my mic was muted. And obviously it's not the first time that happens. Even though I've got a blue Yeti and the mute button kind of flashes when it's muted, because someone came into my room and so I muted it. So that means this episode is going to be even shorter, but we beat them 3-0, which was kind of a blessing in disguise, considering last season they were kind of a bogey team. We lost 1-0 to them after dominating the game last season in the first fixture, and then drew 1-1. Patrick Bamford got an equal. And the funny thing was, both goals they scored against us last season were from corners. But anyways, we beat them 3-0 now, which is good. To be fair, both teams had 3 clear-cut chances, but Steele again did very well in goal. It seems like the fact that he's now got some serious competition means he's performing a little bit better. But there we go. There's the first goal. Gouffran grabbing it. And once again, same old, same old. Fullbacks getting forward, getting the ball low and hard into the box, and making it difficult for opposition defenders to deal with. Kerem Demirbay got on the score sheet, which was nice to see, and he was really dominating the midfield all game with his passes left, right and centre. We also made some tactical tweaks as well that I think may very well become long-term tactical tweaks that I'll go through in a bit. I've kind of like saved it as a separate tactic now. I think against Fulham, regardless of the decent pre-season we had, Obviously, I'm still keeping our normal approach, and I'm going to be kind of, in the next few games, be testing between the two. I want to be careful that we don't kind of do a Leicester, if that makes sense, because we've been playing with the same approach for the past 2 seasons. We brought in a lot of new players that are quite capable, so naturally we do have to tweak to try and get the best out of them. So this is our normal approach, and this is our new approach, the one that got us a 3-0 win against Watford. Now, in terms of what we've changed, we're no longer playing with a slightly higher defensive line and trying to use the offside trap. Too many times now, and it happened in the Fulham game, where we get direct balls over our back four, and we end up, conceding from it, or the opposition get a clear-cut chance from it. And even though I brought in better centre-backs, we still seem to be struggling in that respect. So the logical solution is to drop our defensive line and tell them not to try and use the offside trap. Keep it simple. Dumic is now playing the role that Mulgrew was playing as a ball-playing defender last season. Now, the truth is, Dumic has only got 11 passing, and he was on stopper as well. And even though I looked at his stats, 16 jumping reach, 14 heading, he should be a relatively decent stopper. We saw it against Fulham where he'd run forward, jump for the ball and just miss it. That same constant problem. So I'm going to be rotating a lot between my centre-backs, trying to find the perfect fit. And that means these roles are going to change quite often. But at the end of the day, a centre-back is a centre-back, regardless of whether he's a ball-playing defender or a normal centre-back. In terms of roles, it's the exact same. So we've discussed the defensive line. We're obviously no longer narrow. We're now fairly narrow. And we've increased our passing directness to mixed. We now have better players, particularly midfielders like Asaidi, Demirbay and Tiote, who are much better passers than our midfielders that we've had in the past 2 years, which barely had more than 11 passing on average between them, which means they're better at passing longer distances. We can increase from short passing to mixed passing. What I found is slightly increasing the width has resulted in obviously more space between our players, which resultantly means more space needs to be covered by opposition defenders when it comes to trying to stop us, and it's just created that little bit more room for more creative players like Karim Demirbay to just make a difference. We've also turned on get stuck in. The main reason for that is, again, we signed new centre-backs. We've got obviously the same fullbacks we had last season, but they're much better fullbacks than what we had in the Championship, and we've got Tiote now in midfield, so I think we can afford to get stuck in on when players start getting yellow cards and so forth. It can always be tweaked, and I call these tweaks for a reason. And the truth is, I've not made massive changes, but sometimes that's all it takes. But again, we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'm glad that we started off the Premier League with 2 wins. We're currently in second place. Obviously, it's way too early to jump to any conclusions. Ross McCormack is actually one of the top goal scorers in the Premier League, 32 years old, 3 goals so far this season to his name, yet Aston Villa find themselves in 16th. They lost 5-3 to Crystal Palace, which probably explains why Christian Benteke is above him. But anyways, yeah, that's going to be it for this episode. Apologies about not recording the Watford game, but when you kind of get a 3-0 win, you're not really going to restart the game, are you, for a YouTube video? So we've got Leeds United up next, Championship team, of course. Bottom of the Championship, as a matter of fact. Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard. Not doing too well now, are you, mate? Let's take a look at their schedule. Bloody hell. Lost 5-0 to Burnley, 3-1 to Bolton, 5-1 to QPR. Real question is, can we score 6 past them? Bloody hell, Stevie G. But anyways, so Steven Gerrard's Leeds up next in the EFL Cup. Should be a relatively straightforward game. Then we'll be away at newly promoted Aston Villa. And then we've got United, Spurs and Liverpool. 3 games in a row. Do you want that to be one massive episode? It might end up being 30-40 minutes long, but it could actually be one hell of an episode. It's up to you guys. Let me know. And then after that, I think we'll just do Arsenal and Chelsea. Not really liking these games in a row, if you know what I mean. Really harsh for momentum. But anyways, that's going to be it. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. See you next time.